Okay, everybody, it is anniversary time, and that means a brand new unit. And yes, my neck's a little red. I was scratching there. Don't worry about it. Hey, it's Umber Rays here. I'm in a tired but good mood because we are going to be talking about White Wolf Glaciela, which, yeah, that's what I'm going to call her. I know it's like her official title is like Dress Up, but that's not. I feel like White Wolf is just a cooler name for it, so that's what I'm choosing as what I'm going to call her. But yeah, we need some music, don't we? How about this? Yeah, this sets the tone quite nicely for just what we are going to be talking about, right? An incredibly powerful double unit, and okay, that's perhaps a little bit too much. Let's tone it down and go with this one. Either way, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. A few minutes later. So here is the new version of Glassy. For now, at least as far as we know, a JP exclusive, non-limited character to that side of the game, who is 100 cost and the fire element. Now, it's not, of course, ever at the start of this video, just because we always get these comments. It's not 100% decided that she is going to be exclusive to the JP side. Things can change, red lights or green lights get reddened, red lights get greened, and so on and so forth, meaning that there is still a possibility one day she will end up on the global side. But for the sake of this video, I am going to preface it that it probably is a global, or it's not coming to global, because they are getting Zazen, but that's also not definitive. So again, not a limited time character. As far as we know, not coming to global, but could in the future. So treat that with whatever you would like. All right. Now, she is a fire elemental mage who is very defensive. And taking a look at her jobs, her primary job is a brand new one. We've never seen this job before. It's the White Wolf Princess. Secondary job is White Mage, and tertiary job is Scholar, a brand new mage class that is particularly very strong against against physical units. Now, while this unit is a 100 cost unit, she will have regular price the same way that Dwan operates on the JP side, meaning you can farm 2 shards of hers per day. Her lapis cost is normal per shards, like most of the other characters who are below 100 cost. I say that because I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Point is that she is a lower cost character, and but she is definitely going to be performing like a lot of the other double cost, particularly Black Witch Helena. I think is a good comparison just to how strong she is. So taking a look, let's see her limit burst first, which is a really big, first of all, it's a nod to who are the who were second and third place winners in the voting competition 1 year ago. Both Little Leela and Venera ended up coming very high in terms of the rankings, so it's cool to see them in this limit burst. It's very nicely spirited in that way, and I quite like it. It's very cooperative, which is pretty cool, given the fact that a lot of the times Wotv feels like a world inherited by anywho. So what's interesting about the limit burst is that first of all, it is an AoE. As you can see, it has a large range on it, dishes out large damage, reduces counters by 100 for 3 turns to the targets that are hit by it. It does cost 58 AP, but no worries, because it actually grants auto restore on her. Basically, she gets 10% per turn for 3 turns. So she is generating a lot of AP back, even though she is needing to spend a fair bit up front. And that makes her just very, very strong. All right, taking a look at her TMR. Her TMR is definitely no slouch either, because 466 HP, 12 defense, 10 critical avoidance, which is pretty good. But this ability caps it all off with an increase to magic power for allies within range by 40%. It's a big range, so that's really, really good for her. and for being a support for other units as well as herself. She can use this 2 times, and it only costs 28 TP. And not only does it increase magic power for all those allies, but it increases magic resistance penetration as well. So even if the enemy does have magic resistance, she can get around it. And this is for 3 turns for self. It doesn't grant it for other units, but there are already plenty of strong mages out there. Put this girl on a team with Black Witchelena, and I think it's quite a deadly combination. Her master ability provides all the normal stuff you would usually expect: HP, fire attack for the allies. For herself, she gets AoE resistance by a 10 and a decrease of activation time for her abilities by 200. This is going to be a pretty common theme in her kit, just because she does have an ability activation, but trust me when I say it's not going to be a problem. So we're going to head over into here and take a look at the friend unit. So just here, seconds to take a peek in through this part, and boom. There we go. Let's take a look at her stats. So this is on a mage-based team, as you can see from the other units that are currently on here. We have a lot of focus on magic power, and that is boosting her magic, a lot of her stats a lot. So I think 1200 was more the stats I normally saw. But this kind of gives you an idea of like what she could be on a fully fledged team. Very scary. Taking a look at about 5,000 HP is a pretty good amount of AP. Taking a look at her AP, she has about 221, so 10% of that per turn is a fair amount of AP. 208 TP, 1400 magic with Bahamut, which is a fair amount, but as you can see, even as a defense and spirit stat. Now, obviously, some of this is coming from this, and some of it is coming from this, but it's a lot. I do think it is quite a bit of defense, if nothing else, you must admit, for a mage to have. And still 93 speed. Her stats are pretty darn good. Not too worried about movement or jump at all, because she has very good range on her magic attacks, and it's just not going to be that scary. Now, of course, we always have to take a look at resistances, providing I don't forget. But this is the funny part, because if you take a look at her, what she is weak to, well, I mean, she's got some slash resistance, which is good. She has a lot of shooting resistance, which is amazing here for this build. And she has even magic resistance, so she's potentially good against other mages. Early on, in just based on like what we had seen previously with Scholar, I was sure that she was going to be good against other physical units, and she has enough defense HP to really feel like she's going to be good there. But I'm kind of surprised to see even magic resistance as well as shooting resistance. It just is a really much tankier mage, and I thought she was going to be. Strike is one weakness, which is to be considered, but really the funny thing is the fact that she is water weak as well as spear weak. And let's just think, everyone, I want you to think real quickly, what is a character out there who is a water spear type that she would be weak to? I don't know. I think in mirror matches, where, you're looking at a reflection, a lot of the times it's not going to be the best matchup for her, which is really interesting. I'll leave the rest of you to piece that together. All right. Now we get to look at the rest of her skills. First of all, we're going to talk about Scholar. There's an increase of defense for herself, as well as an increase to defense debuff resistance, which is part of a Scholar's kit, which is really good. I mean, if you're against an entire physical team, running Scholar with this buff is just really, really good. She also has a couple of fire elemental attacks. One that does 185% damage, decreases attack for the target for 3 turns, so again, countering physical. She has another attack with bigger range on it that deals a fair amount of damage at 141% mono, not as big. And interestingly, she has a restore CT for self for 1 turn, decrease activation time, which is basically kind of a it's kind of an interesting one. It reduces her, like overall activation, but I don't know if that's going to be a super big problem. It does run for 4 turns, and it basically is like a, get amped up for mages, so that's pretty cool that it's... And last but not least is a diamond AoE called Rockfall, although while I'm not entirely sure yet, I thought I saw that it was a earth elemental, but Wotv Calc has it listed as a fire elemental. Fire makes more sense, she's a fire character, but I thought I saw that in her kit, and I could have been wrong. So, I mean, it is an elemental spell. It costs 38 AP, you can use it 3 times. It does 185% damage in a giant AoE, and it absorbs 30% of the damage done. So Glassy does have a good amount of just like heal potential. Like, she has good defensive with her Scholar, and she has really good just damaging a lot of enemies and keeping herself alive. If you consider the fact that she already has AP regeneration in her kit, having HP regeneration is also just pretty damn strong. Alright, next up is White Mage. I wish I could show this off, but I don't have the character yet. We do have, first of all, Dispel All Ailments in Asuna. We have a whole bunch of different heal spells. She has basic Rise. She does not have full life, so just regular life, but that's still good. That was a problem with Aerith, was the fact that she didn't have a way of reviving characters, or really a good way of like fixing status effects. So again, this is another thing that she can be. She can be like Yuna in the fact that she is a high damage potential character. It can also be a good healer too. She has a lot of different heal spells in her kit, including Kuraga. She has Protect, Shell, she has this, basic raise, but all of this, I think, points to her just being particularly very good at healer as well. There is no healing buff in her kit. Like, the support she gets from White Mage is, Saint's March, which is invalidates death, and that's definitely good, but no healing boost. And last but not least is her new job, and this job feels very, very tuned. First of all, a sleep spell, because her kit can leverage if the enemy is asleep. This is just a very powerful ability. You're looking at 4 uses. It's AoE. You can, sleep is a pretty detrimental thing to happen to the enemy team. So I do like this as just a option for it. It is a strong part of her kit. And next up, we have a couple other abilities here. Magic Attack, pretty decent one, and last but not least, this one, which decreases magic resistance by 38% for 3 turns target. I'm going to talk about builds a little bit later, but 38% decrease in magic resistance is actually pretty brutal for an enemy that is specifically countered against it. So, you have a tank, it's hit with this attack, it's already doing a lot of damage, and if another mage comes in, I mean, that's a lot of magic resistance to lose off a single attack. So I think that is, magic resistant enemies beware. This girl is not pulling any punches. Alright, now let's take a look at these. So first of all, this ability, which is a hit directly ahead, a 3-panel hit attack, which is pretty nice. We're going to take a next at this one, which I do believe is a 200% modifier. It's 27 AP. I do believe that it does get upgraded, and I want to say that this is one that regens her AP. It's sorry, one quick. I had the notes about this, but yeah, if this is the one where if the enemy is asleep, and it also takes advantage of low pace, it just deals more damage. So it's a strong single target potential finisher if you can put them to sleep and then murder them in their sleep. Basically we got Freddy Krueger here. Alright, next up is this one. This is her level 25 ability and a real showstopper. 220% modifier, so it is one of the higher attack powers in the game. But it also decreases CT by 25 for targets that are caught within range. Just a really powerful ability. If you think of the fact that whether you're running this her as her primary job, so she has access to sleep, or she's running it as Scholar, she always has access to this ability, which is just a speed decrease of a new variety, which is really nice because it's also dealing a massive amount of damage AoE. Very strong recommendation to get this girl to 25 as quick as possible. Now, she also has a few other abilities that are pretty interesting. This one is 141% modifier, but it inflicts Berserk. Berserk can just shut down enemies. It was powerful when Lord Mont had it. It's very powerful here, so I guess Fire is just the Berserk group. But this is just strong and very deadly. This can ruin another mage team by making them just do inadequate physical attacks for 3 turns. Yeah, this is very powerful to say the least. Yeah. Next up, this one is a increase of magic attack. It increases by 20 for 3 turns to allies, but it increases by 50 for 3 turns to herself. So she'll power up other people, but she's also still very much interested in killing you herself. So that's really great. And then last but not least is this one, which increases spirit penetration by 50 for 1 turn. So, and then hits with a 220% modifier. So, yeah, taking a look at Glacie's entire kit in terms of attack abilities, there's just some really amazing stuff. First of all, you do have just really, like, a variety of really strong AoEs, regardless of what job she's in. She has multiple AoEs. Even in her White Mage, she still has them. But in Scholar, she just gets an extra one that's just like, oh, guess what? And you're also healing for a bunch. She has so much ability activation decrease in her kit that I don't think it's ever going to be a problem. Like, literally, once she gets into her her EX very quickly, she ends up getting her support gets upgraded to not only give her increased magic attack and spirit penetration, which she already had, I read this backwards, my bad. Trying to make just a point, but it increases magic attack, but it also has decreased ability activation by 150. So if you look at just her master ability plus her support, that's 350 right there. And she has other ways of decreasing it. So I don't think ability activation is ever going to be a problem. Just kind of a burden of too much choice. But that ability also gets upgraded to have 40 spirit penetration. So she's also getting through magic tanks quite nice. I already talked about Nullifying Doom. For her Scholar, it just increases her defense and accuracy, but she also has an option to decrease skill activation time even more by 200. And her counters, well, she has White Mage, which gives her regen. Her Scholar one is a chance to counter all damage with some damage back. But her new job is just Magic Reflex, 20% chance to counter with a 200% evasion. Glacie is just so incredibly freaking strong, and she was absolutely worth doing an incredibly long video about. This double cost unit boasts a ton of stuff that you would just want in this. Like, this unit was probably 100% going to just be 100 double cost at some point in time, but reduced because of the complaints on the Japanese side. Yet she is just an amazing performer. Like, literally, I found hard times trying to figure out what I didn't like. She's amazingly versatile on any team, but especially on a mage team where she can buff other mages. Her increases for herself are just so incredibly powerful that I put her on the same level as Black Witch Helena, but with the benefit of having just status effects. Now, Black Witch Helena should be said that, you know, she is an incredibly powerful character still, and I don't think we should underestimate just how strong this character is. Black Witch Helena is boasting an incredible amount of stats, as well as arithmetician abilities, which are just very strong. But between the two of them, I mean, get both. that's the opinion I have on the JP side. I like I said, I had a really hard time of coming up with cons other than the fact that she's essentially weak to herself. And I do think a combination of Aerith as well as Moore, Ramada's sister, who is a brand new or a newer mage on the JP side, who is a water elemental mage, could potentially pose some problems to this character. I don't think that it's really worth even considering. This character is going to be incredibly powerful. Her casting time is not a problem. Weakness, she costs you resources, I guess, like any other character. But she's boasting an incredible amount of stats. I think that she can slot into many different roles. I think that she is perfectly suitable for any team, whether you're going up against physical units, magical units, defense-orientated units. I don't even think that a anti-magic team would really slow a fully maxed out version of her. So yeah, White Wolf or Gray Wolf? We're gonna go. Yeah, Gray Wolf. I'm thinking of something entirely else now. But anyway, White Wolf Glassy, she really is just absolutely amazing. Between all the debuffs she can give to the enemy, status effects, the way she leverages it, the way she buffs her party, the way she can get around so many things that would be potentially problematic for her. Yep, thumbs up. Unbelievably amazing unit. If you're on the JP side, I mean, she's permanently in the pool, but maybe sooner is better with this one. Seriously, I think like her plus Mont plus Blackwood Chillin it. Oh my god. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next video.